It was Christmas Eve, and I stood on the porch of the house where I'd memorized every creak in the floorboards, clutching a pecan pie I'd spent 5 painstaking hours perfecting. My breath rose in little clouds, the cold gnawed at my fingers through thick gloves. Behind the frosted front window, golden light glimmered like memory. I saw shadows move, figures laughing, glasses clinking, the faint sound of music wrapped around it all like a ribbon. I pressed the doorbell. Seconds passed, 5, maybe 6, then it opened. There she was, my mother. Sequins sparkled from the reindeer antlers stitched onto her sweater. Her eyes met mine, unreadable. "Sorry," she said slowly, fingers still wrapped around the doorknob. "You must have the wrong house." I stared at her, stunned. "Mom?" She gave me a polite smile, the kind you offer to a stranger selling vacuum cleaners. "I'm sorry, I don't know who you are." No hesitation, no flicker of recognition, no joke hiding behind her eyes, just distance, cold, practiced, complete. "It's me," I whispered, "Emily." Her expression didn't change. "I hope you find where you're meant to be." And she closed the door, softly, no anger, no drama, just the gentle finality of a lock sliding into place. I stood there, pie still warm in my hands. As the cold crept under my coat sleeves and into my bones, I waited, 1 minute, then another. Surely someone would come out, laughing, saying it was all a mistake, a prank, something. No one came. Inside, the music floated through the walls, Sinatra's voice crooning, laughter bubbling from the kitchen. It was the kind of holiday I used to help create. Then my phone buzzed. "Ryan, my brother." I answered. "Don't be mad," he said quickly. "We just couldn't have you here, not this year." I said nothing. "It's complicated, just, please don't make a scene." I looked down at the pie, still warm, still intact. How long had they planned this? I hadn't always been the one outside the door. There was a time when I was essential, my name on every grocery receipt, every bill paid when no one else could manage. When Dad had his stroke, I was the one who showed up, took unpaid leave, filed insurance forms, managed meds, because Mom couldn't, Ryan wouldn't. When the bank threatened foreclosure, I wired the money, quietly, no thanks needed, no one even asked. I bought the tree the year Dad lost his job, wrapped gifts tagged from Mom and Dad, though I'd paid for every one, covered Ryan's rent for 7 months while he found himself. Mom's texts never asked how I was, just "Can you help Ryan?" Never "Do you have enough?" Only "Can you?" And I always did. Last Thanksgiving, I cooked, cleaned, poured wine, brought dessert, made Mom's favorite tart from scratch, and when it was time for the family photo, she handed me the phone. "Can you take it, Emily? We just want the family in this one." I laughed, pretended it didn't sting, but I remember how my hands trembled as I snapped the picture. When I brought it up later, she said, "You're just so independent, sweetheart, you never really needed us." Independent, a soft word for forgotten. And now Ryan, the same brother who once left me a voicemail saying, "I don't know what I'd do without you," was the one asking me not to cause trouble after they locked me out. Well, now I knew exactly what he'd do without me. Close the door. Was I ever anything more than a stopgap, a buffer, the one who caught the falling pieces and quietly disappeared? How had I become the one they saw only when they needed saving? The next morning, I woke before dawn in my small apartment, still in yesterday's clothes, still wide-eyed from a night of silence. My phone glowed with Ryan's last message. "Let it go, you're making this bigger than it is." I opened our old family group chat. It was gone. At least, for me. I scrolled through old Christmas photos, found one from last year, Dad, mid-laugh, Ryan and his girlfriend, arms around each other, warm lighting, wrapped gifts, the tree I decorated. I wasn't in it. Not behind the camera, not tagged, not even mentioned. Like I'd never been there at all. That's how it happens. They don't erase you all at once. They do it softly. It starts small. A missed invite to dinner. Then, *O, we thought you had other plans. Then come the jokes, casual, cutting, told just loud enough for others to hear, but never you. Until, one day, you're simply not there. Not in the group chats. Not in the photos. Not even in the parts of the story you lived. It was never loud. But it was deliberate. When I logged into the shared emergency savings account, the one I created after Dad's stroke, my name was still on it, but none of the activity was mine. They hadn't asked for help. They just moved on. Without me. I thought that was the worst of it. Until I checked the mail. A letter from a law office. My stomach dropped. I expected bad news about Dad's health or the house, but no. It was an update to Mom's will. I wasn't in it. I read it twice, thinking I misunderstood. 2 years ago, I helped her write that will, paid for the consultation, drafted the paperwork, ensured Ryan was included even though he hadn't lifted a finger. Now? Her jewelry was left to Ryan's girlfriend. The house, Dad's while he lives, then Ryan's. Me? Not a single mention. In the attorney's notes, Emily's doing well, she doesn't need anything. That was the logic, not anger, not conflict, just erasure, disguised as practicality. I wasn't excluded because I failed. I was excluded because I succeeded, quietly, consistently, without needing them. Useful until I was no longer necessary. Tolerated until I became too easy to ignore. I didn't send a message. Didn't ask for an explanation. Instead, I opened my banking app. First, canceled the automatic rent transfer to my parents' account. Second, removed myself from the shared savings. Third, blocked the emergency credit card Ryan used just in case. Every action was quiet, deliberate, final. Not a slammed door. Just the soft, firm click of one closing. No tears. No rage. Only a strange, clean stillness, like the silence that follows a snowstorm. I took the pie, still warm, still untouched, and left it on their porch. No note, no goodbye. Then I walked away. In the rearview mirror, their lights blurred and faded behind the frost. By the time I reached home, my phone had started buzzing. Missed calls. Voicemails. Group texts. Names blinking on my screen like fireflies in a sealed jar. Mom, Dad, Ryan, even my aunt, who hadn't spoken to me in over a year. What's happening? Your mother is upset. Please answer, don't do this. I didn't respond. Not because I was angry, but because there was nothing left to explain. I made tea, turned off my phone, and watched the snow fall outside my window. The cold no longer stung. It felt like protection. I was there, I whispered to the quiet. They just never let me in. If I disappeared, would they miss me, or just the things I did for them? The silence didn't last. By day 2, voicemail full. By day 3, Mom calling from her work line. By day 4, Ryan's tone turned from defensive to aggressive to desperate. I don't know what point you're trying to make. You're really going to do this to Mom? I get it, you're mad, but this is too far. Still, I said nothing. Because for the first time, I saw the truth. I'd never been the daughter. I'd been the support system. And now, the cracks were showing. A week after Christmas, I got a message from Mrs. Daly, my parents' neighbor. Your mom's been crying in the yard. Your dad was yelling something about missed payments. 2 days later, another message. Did you know Ryan's girlfriend moved out? Said he maxed out her card, packed her things while he was at work. I read them. I didn't respond. Then came the photo. Ryan, grinning, holding a brand new PS5. Caption, lucky start to the new year. #treat yourself. He'd used the emergency card I gave him, the one for gas, groceries, job interviews. I had blocked it, just not soon enough. That night, Mom called. Her voice was tight, unraveling. Your father's furious, the rent's unpaid, Ryan's in trouble, I can't do this by myself. I let the call ring out. Because it was never about being needed. It was about what happened when I stopped being invisible. They had told themselves a story for years. Ryan, the fragile dreamer, just needing time. Me, the capable one, the strong one, the one who would never break, never leave, never say no. But when I stepped away, the whole story began to crumble. Because I wasn't the backup. I was the foundation. And now that I was gone, they were finally noticing the cracks. I didn't call them back. Didn't say, I told you so. Didn't screenshot Ryan's post and send it to the group chat that once pretended I was family. I just turned off the app. Set my phone down. And listened to the silence that was no longer mine to carry. That night, Mom left a voicemail. Emily, your father's heart is acting up again. I'm scared, please, just call me. No, I'm sorry. No, we were wrong. Just fear, sharpened into guilt. Then came Dad's email. We need to talk. Whatever this is, don't let it tear the family apart. And then, Finally, Ryan's girlfriend. The one who used to pull me aside at family dinners, whispering, "You're the only one in that house with a full brain." I thought she understood. But now, she wrote, "Please don't stir things up right now. Everyone's under a lot of pressure. Maybe just let this go. Let this go." The same woman who once told me, "You deserve better than how they treat you," was now asking me to stay quiet. To let them keep treating me like a utility, instead of a daughter. It was easier, she said. I didn't respond to any of them. Not out of bitterness, but because they still didn't see me. I wasn't a daughter, I wasn't a sister. I was a tool, a lever, a fix-it button they wanted to press again when it suited them. They didn't want me back. They wanted the version of me that stayed invisible, silent, useful, compliant. The one who cooked the dinners, paid the bills, and quietly stepped out of the photos when asked. "It's not about who's right," Mom's voicemail said, her tone almost rehearsed. "It's about keeping the family together." The family wasn't broken because I left. It was broken when they decided I didn't belong unless I stayed useful and silent. Why is it that when you finally say enough, they act like you're the one tearing everything apart? I agreed to see them once. No build-up, no confrontation. Just a Sunday afternoon in the same living room that had once shut me out. Mom had cleaned up. Dad wore the sweater I bought him 2 Christmases ago. Ryan didn't look up from his phone until I sat down. No one said I'm sorry. Instead, Mom reached for my hand, like nothing had changed. "Emily, this has gone too far, we're family." That word again. I looked at her. Then at Dad. Then at Ryan. "You shut the door in my face," I said. "You told me I didn't belong, and when the rent stopped getting paid, then you remembered my name." Dad sighed, like I was being dramatic. "We were under stress. You took it the wrong way." I almost laughed. "Is there a right way to be erased?" Ryan scoffed. "You think you're the victim? You've always been cold, always made us feel like we owed you." I blinked. "You did owe me. I kept the lights on. I paid for Christmas. I paid for your gas, your school, your second chances." No one argued. Because they knew it was true. Mom's eyes filled with tears, but still, no apology. "You've always been so independent, sweetheart. We thought you didn't need us." I stood up. I didn't need help. I needed recognition. Silence. Then Dad muttered, "You don't walk away from family." I looked him straight in the eyes. "You already walked away, you just did it quietly." They all stared. Not angry. Just stunned, like they finally heard something they couldn't refute. I grabbed my coat, the same one I wore that night outside their door. Before I left, I turned once more and said what they couldn't argue with, "I was there, you just found life easier when I wasn't." And I walked out. Not slamming the door. Not waiting for them to follow. Just, done. The next morning, I woke up to nothing. No missed calls. No new voicemails. No last-ditch texts filled with guilt or rage. Just quiet. I stood by the window with my coffee, watching snow drift through the air like dust falling off the sky. For the first time in years, I didn't have a plan to fix anything. No transfers to schedule. No groceries to cover. No calls to return. Just stillness. And it didn't scare me. I opened the hallway closet and pulled down an old box labeled home. Inside was the family photo album. Pages and pages of frozen smiles, birthdays, beach trips, graduations. There I was. Always slightly off-center. Holding the camera. Carrying the cake. Picking up the slack. I closed the album and placed it on the top shelf. Far back behind winter blankets. Then I walked to my car. The pecan pie I brought on Christmas Eve was still there. The crust had cracked. The filling had collapsed inward. Still wrapped. Still untouched. I picked it up, walked across the street, and set it on the front step of a church I'd never entered. No note, no explanation. Just something sweet left behind. Back home, my phone buzzed. One message, from Mom. "We lost the house. Ryan moved out. Your dad blames me. I was wrong. Please, Emily, come home." I stared at it. Then tapped delete. No reply. Not because I wanted to punish her. Just because I'd already come to the door, and they had already decided I didn't belong. I went outside again. No coat this time. Let the cold sting my skin. It didn't hurt. Not like it used to. This kind of cold didn't freeze. It cleared. The street was silent. The sky, wide open. and for the first time in years, I smiled. Not because someone needed me, but because I didn't need to be needed. If you've ever stood at a door that should have opened but didn't, just leave a comment.